Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. So today is July 23rd, 2019, and this is the one potato bin that I had showed you earlier. Now this one here was started back in before Easter. We tried some early slips, and now these started dying out. And it is early for them to be dying out, but we did start harvesting some of the potatoes out of it. And this is what we got so far. That was just in this little spot right here from one stalk. So there's definitely a lot more potatoes in here. Move those back there.
Have your shovel in the tractor.
Oh, you're covering the potatoes.
These must be deep. Yeah.
There we go. So these went down deeper.
Really deep.
Oh. No?
It's gonna need shovels.
Okay.
So we're going to need, there's one over there. So we're going to need a shovel to get them out.
If that's what you want.
See back there.
There's your shovel. Sorry.
Now what we actually did with these is we started collecting the slips in
January.
we started collecting the slips in January, and we kept them in the refrigerator after we left the bottoms callus over. And before Easter, they got planted out in this raised bed out here.
Now some of these are already harvested out, so
Now some of these were already harvested out, so we've been eating them and having them on the grill, and they're really good.
harvest a lot of them out.
Now the stalks were hit by the frost, and they did get some snow on top of them, and it killed the tops of the it killed the tops of the potato plants, but it didn't hurt them down underneath, so they came back.
It actually makes them a little bigger.
And when that happens like that, or when top of the stalk, like if you top them or something, it'll actually make your potatoes grow bigger. So you can see there's more in there.
Yeah, they got a lot bigger if they would have kept going, but the heat took them out.
So, if they would have kept going, they would have gotten a lot bigger, but what actually happened was we were getting days in the upper 80s and in the 90s, so we went from having a lot of rain, and then it started getting real hot and it started getting drier on us. So that's kind of hard on your plants, and they would have kept going, but it just couldn't keep going. That's a russet one there.
It's an oldie.
Oops. Now what you want to do with your potatoes, after you harvest them, you want to lay them out to dry. And you want to let them kind of cure some. And what we do is we put them in our basement then, and you want to keep them out of sun.
Yeah, because they're so fresh, you'll skin.
Yeah, these right here, if you happen to scratch those like this one here did, they're so fresh it's going to just take the skin right off of it. So you got to let them cure for a little bit. But if you want to eat them fresh, you can. Now that potato back there, the other one, no, that one, yeah. Now this potato here, what happened with this one here and this one here is they were actually too close to the top of the soil and the sun got them, which causes a sunburn and it turns your potatoes green. Now, I don't recommend, and it's not recommended to eat the green part of the potato. So you can just cut that out because it actually produces a poison. And it's something, it's going to be really bitter, not very tasty, and it's something that I don't recommend eating.
You can see they're dead.
So the stalks here are dead, and you see they just pull right out. And we moved up a little bit.
I'm not going to dig them all out, but
And you can see how close the potatoes are to the top on some of them. Now some of them did go down very deep. And we're not going to dig all of these out today. We have more rain coming, and we harvested our onions. So we have to get those tied up. You can see right there. And you can see how easy they just skin. It just peels right off if you happen to catch it with your nail or something. So these are being left out for a little bit so they can air dry.
And these were our old potatoes from last year that we had gathered.
And my dad said the slips came from our old potatoes that we had from last year that we dried them and we kept them, and then we used them for replanting.
We ate them, but then we used them for replanting.
So we ate them, and then we used some for replanting too. We take the eyes off of them.
What the eyes look like.
Yeah, oh yeah. If you want to see how we do our potatoes, I did do a video for how we do our potato slips and how we cut the eyes off, and that is on my YouTube channel. And I did a whole entire playlist on it from last year.
If they'd have kept going.
But you can see here, if they'd have kept going, all these would have turned into potatoes. But unfortunately,
something's going in and boring in the stems too, as you can see.
yeah, we have something also boring into the stems, which also killed the plants.
So wet, everything can thrive, but the stuff it won't. Oh, the stone. Here. We're not going. There's a lot here that are green yet. As long as they're green, but there's a classic example of what happens.
Here, okay, back there, that's one of the potatoes that's still in the ground, it's still attached, and it did not get covered, and the sun got it, and that is actually sunburn right there on the potato.
But there's new eyes already.
It's actually resprouting back out already.
Here's another one.
And there's another one back there that did the same thing. So what I would do is I cut the green part out. And you have to look on the potato after you cut it out to make sure you get all the green out. Now some people throw them away. We just cut the stuff out of them.
Never had a problem. We usually have grass in here, but it got so big we couldn't get it in.
So
you can see the grass laying on top.
We
right here, look at the grass.
We normally have more grass in here than this, but what actually happened is they grew so quickly and they got so tall that we just didn't get to get any more grass in there because we couldn't. We didn't want to damage the stalks. And the stalks that are still green, we're going to let them in here. And we're going to let them continue and keep growing. So here's a patch that was found by pulling a weed out, and sometimes like they'll go in around the weeds, and when you're pulling the weeds out, you'll pull the potatoes right out with them. So
all the bigger the slip is.
this is one of the old slips. This is all the bigger the slip is, and my dad accidentally just pulled it out, and did have a little potato on it down there, and it was in with a weed, and when he pulled the weed out, it the potato stalk just came out with it, because you can see the weeds just kind of came in here with everything else, and we try and keep up on everything, but sometimes it gets ahead of us.
Too wide to get in there.
And
without damaging your stalks. So
it's a pretty good sized bin for width wise. It's 5 foot wide, and it's kind of hard to get in between. We tried walking in here the one year, and it actually wound up damaging the potato stalks, and then they died. So that kind of that defeated our purpose. So it's kind of one of those ones where you try and get what you can get, and what you can't, you gotta kind of let it go. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get rained on here. And when we finish harvesting the rest of this, I'll come back and I'll show it to you here. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to rework the soil then that we took the potatoes out of, and we're going to plant red beets in it. So when this finishes getting harvested, probably in about like 2 weeks, I think my dad said, for the rest of it, I'll come back then and I'll show you what all we got out of it. So this is our red beet patch over here.
got 9 pints.
And we already got 9 pints of red beets out of it for pickled red beets. And we have more to get out. So these are the Detroit dark red beets. They're our favorite red beet. You can see down here, if you can move that one, please. You can see how large the bulbs of the red beets are there. And this is one of our raised beds that we built, and we refeed it, and we're going to be adding more soil to it then, and we're probably going to be planting more red beets in it. And this whole patch here for this raised bed is going to get planted on red beets after it gets more compost worked into it and refed, and then we're going to put more red beets in here. So this is our onion harvest here. Now there's more onions growing down in the hollow garden. These up here from all the rain started trying to rot on us, so we had to pull them out, and going to be showing you then how to tie these up. So I just wanted to give you this quick thing here on these. You can see here how large some of these are.
This bucket's deep.
Whoops. And you can see how deep this bucket is here. And we've been taking onions out, and we've been harvesting them. We did start harvesting tomatoes out of the garden, and we've been taking those off, and we started eating those. So the potatoes are all bagged up here. We had to get them up. It's gonna rain, and we're gonna have some of these for supper tonight, and we're gonna be putting some of them under our one cupboard so we have them to eat. And you can see what's left in here. So I'm going to give you a quick update here on how the tomatoes and the straw bales are doing. We were really skeptical at first when we first tried this, because this is the first year that we've ever tried this, but we're very impressed. You can see the tomatoes just starting to come and hang on in there, and that's the Big Mama hybrid there. That is a paste tomato, and then these are more of those. And then these right here are the Park Whoppers tomatoes. That's a hybrid as well. You can see how tall they've gotten. And there's more coming. We did harvest some off of these already. And we did get some off of the giant paste tomatoes. I was out the one day, and I was tying the tomato plants up more because they needed more tying up. And these are the giant paste tomato, and you can see there's red tomatoes hanging on in there. So I'm going to wrap this video up real quick before I get rained on. So if you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the little notification button. I'll tell you when I put a new video on. Thank yous for watching, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye!